Hi everyone, Luna here, and I'm sorry for the lighting, but my camera is just being weird. Um, anyway, this is my first video for the YouTube Pagan Challenge this year, obviously. So this year we're doing the Pagan, instead of questions, we're doing topics, and the topics are going to be in alphabetical order. So this video is with A, since we started, and I was actually really torn between altar and athame, but altar won, so this video is about the altar. Now, I wrote it down because I forget things. Definition of an altar is an area of focus for a religious ritual, especially for making sacrifices or offerings to deity. It's a form of holy table. So some people think that your altar has to be permanent because it is something that's sacred, something that's holy. But if you're like me and your life is a complete mess and you live in a really tiny apartment after being in a really big house, you have boxes everywhere still after 5 years, things can be really hard to try and make an altar. So what I've done is I create space, I cleanse the space, and then I put down my accoutrements and wish for the best. Now, my altar is never the same twice in a row. There's always something different. I think the only thing that's common is the corners are still the same. But it's pretty much just the space that I have. I don't have space for a permanent altar. I have, if you could see that, if I was shameless, I would show you my bedroom that I share with my ex-husband. Yeah, there's no space. There's no space anywhere. We still have a ton of stuff in boxes in our closet. So since our closet is literally full to the brim with boxes, our clothes are out and hung on our exercise equipment, because our exercise equipment is also in our bedroom. So there's just no space for a permanent altar. So my altar moves around. So if there's space on the floor, yes. If there's space on top of my dresser, which is actually just a little cubby thing, then yes. If I don't have any space anywhere in the room that day, then if there's nobody downstairs on the coffee table, then the coffee table is my new altar. Again, I just cleanse it. I run sage over it, burning sage over it, or I sprinkle salt water on it, and then I use, I do my devotional, or I do my ritual and everything in the living room, which I've also done it in the living room floor because sometimes the coffee table's in use. So it is okay to not have a permanent altar. It still works. So a common ways to set up altars, the way that I was taught, if you're working with a circular surface, it's better to set up according to like the four corners, so like north, south, east, west, and they're like corresponding elements. So each tool, as well as the images, would go in its respective elements. So like for instance, a sensor, which is representative of air, would go in the east. And like your cup, since it's a bowl and holds water, it would go in the west. Like your goddess symbol, which is an earth symbol, would go in the north. Your god symbol, which is a lot of a fire symbol, would go in the south. So on and so forth. And that's a common way to do it. It's not the only way to do it, but it's a common way to do it. Another common way is if you're working with a rectangular or square surface. The easiest method is by placing the goddess on one side, the god on the other side, and aligning the tools where the symbolism matches. So like on the goddess side, you'd have your water, your cup, your bell, if that's what you work with. And on the god side, you'd have your salt and your wand and your athame. And then in the middle, you'd have your censer and your cauldron and your pentacle. And, it would you just align everything to work with everything. Again, another common way, but not the only way. So that is just a couple of ways that you could try and set up your altar. Again, setting up your altar changes depending on your necessities. Like I said, I don't do my altar the same way every time. It really just depends on what I'm doing that day. But I'm going to share a few pictures of my altar at the end of the video. So anyway, I hope you have a great day and brightest blessings.